Hi, board members. It is me again, Jen Biendo, Senior Director of Policy and Research, and wanted to spend just a few minutes giving you an overview of our advocacy work. Healthy Futures very deliberately and strategically engages in advocacy work under two separate brands. We have our adolescent health advocacy work that is conducted under the Healthy Futures brand, and then we have our women's health advocacy work that is conducted under the banner of the Texas Women's Healthcare Coalition. So let's dive in. For our adolescent health advocacy work, that work is governed by you, the board. We focus on a lot of different areas that impact adolescent health, and we often say that we focus on access to the education and the services that young Texans need for a lifetime of sexual health. So that typically means policy priorities like school-based sex education, access to birth control, support for teen parents, and then also access to adolescent health data. That work is led by me. I also lead our research work and support our women's healthcare work, so we don't have a full-time staffer on this work. We have a small portion of our communications manager who supports communications, and then we also rely on our marketing firm, EJP Marketing. We do have a lobbyist in the Capitol, Taylor Acock. So I am a registered lobbyist, and then Taylor is also a registered lobbyist, and her job is to really be in the Capitol, maintain all of those very strong relationships with lawmakers, and drink more alcohol with them than my liver can handle, right? She is the kind of winer and diner of the legislative members. The political environment for adolescent sexual health is currently very difficult. It's pretty actively hostile. We spend a lot of time looking for areas where we can make an impact, and we also spend a lot of time defending against harmful legislation. We have funding for this work through Episcopal Health Foundation and Methodist Healthcare Ministries. That funding is not for lobbying. That funding is for advocacy and education. So we do have to pay for a majority of our lobbyist contract through general operating funding. So then we also have the Texas Women's Healthcare Coalition. Healthy Futures founded the Texas Women's Healthcare Coalition a number of years ago. And this is really the main entity in the state of Texas that advocates for budget funding for reproductive health care. It is governed by a steering committee that consists of all of the movers and shakers in this space. That's the Texas Medical Association, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, several other advocacy kind of think tanks like Every Texan and Texans Care for Children, and a few other organizations. But Healthy Futures does staff and lead that work. And our Director of Women's Health Policy, Kristen Lanau, also serves as the chair of the coalition. So in addition to budget funding for the state's family planning programs, the coalition also supports things like access to contraception, maternal health, and related issues. In addition to Kristen, we have two additional staff members that are full-time on this work. And then we also have about 2/3 of our advocacy communications manager to support that. TWHC has a separate lobbyist, Shannon Gengerde, and Kristen is also a registered lobbyist. In comparison to our adolescent health work, the policy environment is more favorable. We would call it somewhat favorable. And we also have a broader group of funders that fund that work. So a quick overview of our successes and challenges. TWHC has been extraordinarily successful in advocating for funding for this work. We got an additional $118 million for our family planning programs last session, and an additional $10 million this session, for total funding of $500 million with a B dollars. Last session, we also successfully passed the first positive birth control bill in recent memory. And this session, we had a bill supporting teen parents' access to healthcare that passed the first chamber with a strong majority. But in this very challenging environment, we did also see a bill pass that harmed sexual health education. I'm excited to talk with you all more at the in-person board retreat.